All right, we'll call the meeting to order. Commissioner Weeks, will you read the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. If there's no additions to the agenda, I would entertain a motion to move. Motion by Weeks, second by Gage. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. This time we'll open the meeting up for any public comments. Anyone wish to address the commission this morning on any topic that isn't on the agenda?
I don't know if we're on the agenda or not. We're here to talk about a bridge in East Rondell Township on 398th Avenue between 145th and 146th.
That is not on the agenda.
Okay. So,
Did you want to
yep.
speak to us?
Yeah. So this bridge has been posted since the 90s at 2 or 3 ton. It's the main route for me to get out of our house in the spring, and in the winter the road goes underwater the other way. So it's our only way out. A lot of farmers need to use the bridge. It'd be a nice thing to get fixed, repaired. It's not something we can lose in our area. So
It's a bus route, mail route.
Tell me where it's located again.
398th Avenue, about split right in between 145th and 146th.
And he's got a trucking business down there now where he repairs trucks, so there's more traffic going on all the time.
Okay.
Semi-repair shop, a lot of guys rely on in the area, so they need to be able to get there. And yeah, with the winters we see and the springs we see, coming that way, sometimes the only way to get there, so.
Is Dirk on this morning? Okay. I was just gonna ask him to verify whether that bridge is on the 5-year plan, so.
Okay.
But we will follow up on that, so appreciate you coming in.
All right.
All right. Anyone else wish to address the commission? Online, on the phone? Seeing none, we'll move on. Next up, Jason Hill, Legislative Audit, closing conference, 22-23 audit period.
Did you guys get your contact information on the sign-in sheet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that it for now?
Yeah. Yeah, unless you've got something else you want.
So open comment, we can't really engage because it's not on the agenda, so nobody can be here to discuss. So if it's on the agenda,
Do we need to come to another meeting and be on the agenda or not?
We'll follow up with Dirk.
Okay.
If you have your contact information, we'll get back to you with what we find out, the status
Okay.
of that bridge, whether
Okay.
it's on the 5-year plan, and see what the plan is for.
Okay,
Okay,
sounds
that
good.
sounds good.
Thanks
Thank you
for
guys.
coming in.
Thank you.
Okay.
wait on the others.
Yeah, he's in the back room talking to somebody, he's gonna be here in a minute.
While we're waiting, why don't we just move ahead to the second reading, possible adoption of ordinance 283, which is a rezone.
Hang on, folks.
Oh, well, hold up. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Good, good. I had to wake up early to drive here, so not too bad. Let me get myself situated here. I was gonna stay police, but kinda got lost in conversation. So these are 2 letters right here that I have written. One's a canned-up document. They're kind of both the same. I'll need you and Lynn to sign that. But one's from us stating that from the course of audit, every piece of documentation, any type of discussion we held, you know, that we got it without any like major disruption or disagreement. You know, there's no trouble that we came across, no disputes. And the document, the one that I need you and Lynn signed, is like a stand-up document we write for you, saying that we as the auditors ask you guys for, you know, any information related to fraud, any type of piece of paper we asked for, any type of things to supplement the financial statements, all that it was given to us, or you guys gave it to us without any issue or anything like that. We, had no disturbances throughout the audit. And so it's just a canned up document, it's just really formal. It says, yep, for completing this supplementary information, you got it back and whatnot, and so it's nothing too crazy, but, yeah.
Did you say we had to sign both of these, or just the one?
Just the one,
Okay.
just
Okay.
the one that says Brown County on it.
Yep, okay,
Usually it'd be like a county letterhead on it, but,
okay.
I know, it looks too formal, but, yeah, I'll get that scanned in and get it back to you. And this is the management letter. This is, and this is some of the findings that we find, or the recommendations we make for the audit. And these are only like the more important ones, maybe not like a material weakness, but significant findings we have. Anyone else want? All right. Thank you.
Yep.
So on the management letter here, it's just a canned up document saying what we did, material deficiency, or significant deficiency, material weakness. But our findings start on page 2 of the document. And if you go, we had no material weaknesses in internal controls. There's nothing that, basically, there's no major violation of, like, the policies set by the county. The only thing we found that resulted in a significant deficiency is the controls over financial reporting. And majority of this comes from the statement of, so you can take the fund financial statements, and when they get combined together for the governmental-wide and business-type activities, that information gets put all together and has to be separated, and that's where majority of our financial errors are on the reporting, or financial reports. And it's very common, it's kind of there's a lot of research that goes into it to get, everything put in the right revenue spot and all that. And it's very common, and a lot of this is, we have some counties that might have like 1 or 2 material adjustments, and that's what brings us on here. It's not really, more or less, there's anything missing or avoided on the financial statements. It's just where it was placed on there, and we just adjust it out. And due to its size, or, the materiality of it, that's the reason we put this on here. So it's nothing terrible, there's no fraudulent activity or anything when it comes to that. It's just how it's put on the piece, or on the reports, that's all.
Okay.
And, for the material laws and rules and regulations, provisions, contract and grants agreements, this is the unassigned fund balance amount. It exceeded 40% of the total of the next year's appropriations in the budget for the general funds. A lot of this is just coming down to assigning money, at the end of the year. Like, you don't want this high unassigned fund balance, because then a person from the public or taxpayer can say you guys are overtaxing, because this money can be spent on anything. There's nothing that says it can't be spent on, a new pickup or nothing like that. A lot of times, you guys might have like a purpose for what you guys are going to do the next year. It just helps to be like, with the jail, we assigned $2 million to building a new jail or something like that, just to show that the money has a purpose and it isn't just accruing to be a big lump sum of money, and that's all it is. And it's, it just comes down to a little more monitoring, and that's really about it.
It was a temporary situation, we were aware of
Yeah.
what it was and why it was.
Yeah, so that's about it. And then on number 3 there, this is the immaterial violations of laws, rules, and regulations. This is the, expenditures in excess of appropriations. So in the general fund, the IT overspent $387, and the domestic abuse fund overspent $174. This just comes down to contingency funds and like monitoring it. There's one there, like the numbers were like flipped around when it came to what was documented in the minutes, and then what was done on the general ledger. So it just comes down to more monitoring. It's not like, there was this gross overspending. Then like the parks one there is for the Richmond Lake
Youth camp.
Yep.
Yeah, and that was for Lynn paying out the remaining amount, because it was an unused fund. And I don't even think it was used for like 2 or 3 years. I mean, it was just money sitting there for, I don't remember exactly, but I mean, it's just paid out, put into the parks fund essentially, just because it was just a useless fund. And so, I mean, I could see how that one, but it may look like overspending, it's just that it wasn't used. And if you want to resolve that, it'd just be use your contingency funds there at the end of the year, and just put the amount there so that it just zeroes out, saying that it was budgeted and the expenditure was covered. And for the snow removal one, when I looked at you guys' response, I think there's a little confusion on this one. It's not that snowplow, that was expensed perfectly out of it, there's no issue with that. It's that in the road and bridge fund, so, you know, when the money's spent, it goes to zero, right, in the overall thing. Well, with that snow removal levy and those funds, your new zero is actually that amount. So at the end of the year, the total snow removal levy amount that you guys had accrued, even with the snowplow deducted from, was like $240,000. So that $240,000 is really your new zero, because those monies are restricted. You can't spend it unless it's on those snow removal. And the road and bridge fund had a deficit fund balance for it, you know, just regular road and bridge purposes. So, like on our Exhibit 3 fund balances, it has a restricted balance of $243 for that snow removal, but then it has a negative $146 in that deficit unassigned fund balance to bring it to its cash balance of 85, I think, 85. But that unreserved means that it should have been your zero, or like, you could have spent all the money on the road and bridge, but you should have that 246 still remaining for that snow removal. You understand? Like, is that clear? I guess I don't know exactly.
Well, it's just, they haven't used it for a long time, that's why Dirk wanted to use it towards the equipment for that.
Well, that's fine, yeah, that was perfect, but like, since at 12/31/23, the amount for the snow removal, like, that you still had remaining was 246, but your cash in your road and bridge fund at the time was 85,000, so you guys technically pulled that restricted money out to pay for just general purpose road and bridge fund activities, when it should have just been left alone, is what I'm saying. And so, yeah, that's why I said that new 243 or whatever it was, 240,000 should have just been your guys' actual new zero, unless you guys used it for snow removal purposes.
Well, what's the definition of using?
Which we did.
Well, yeah, I sent it to Lynn. It's just like buying snow equipment, anything for removing snow on the roads, anything.
Which is what we did.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Right.
perfectly fine. Yeah, the snowplow and all that was deducted from that correctly. But, like, because you guys overspent on just regular road and bridge stuff.
We had to do a contingency to his budget, so.
Yeah.
Okay. And we didn't do that.
We did do a contingency to his budget because he was over on his actual budget, but he's saying we shouldn't have touched the reserved until his budget was where it should have been.
Yeah. So that just comes down.
Should have been handled first and then the expenditure. Okay.
So, yeah, like, you guys should have just did a cash transfer to cover just the general road and bridge stuff,
Right.
you know, for payroll or whatever. 'Cause, yeah,
Okay.
hopefully that's good. I mean, I can type up a more detailed response that's a little more eloquent, I guess.
As long as we're all good.
Yeah, it just comes down,
Just
I
the
mean.
timing of when one was
Yeah,
done.
I mean, you guys, 2024, you probably do a cash transfer and fix it, and that's really about it. It's just due to the amount of it, and that's what's really brought forward, yeah. So, and I have a audit survey here too that you guys can send in if you want, just, you know, things we can improve on, all that. But, I'll get you the letter with the stamp on it, so you guys can know that in. We went over on our hours, but that was due to training a new employee. You guys won't be billed for that, so we'll adjust our hours to what we have. And there was a little bit of over, it was just coming down to like, more testing the sheriff's office or some hiccups we had here and there, but overall, that just comes down to fixing the audits, and we'll adjust that with the audit manager so that the billing is relatively the same, so. Other than that, I mean, we had no other issues on that, it's just a really big audit.
But 2 years, yeah.
Yeah. And
Question on, go ahead.
Go ahead, no, go ahead.
Question on inventory of assets.
Yep.
When it comes to electronic devices and things that, you know, get purchased with grants that are spread out, for instance, like cameras, security equipment, things like that. There's grants that are applied for that we get for specific kinds of things like courthouse security and the rest of those kinds of things, and then those assets are agreed on, acquired, and installed, but where's the expectation that those are supposed to be inventoried? Are they part of the IT department, are they part of the individual departments, and how long are they expected to retain them as part of the inventory, because they have a relatively short effective life, 3 to 5 years, maybe 7 for some of these electronic devices, and then they're worthless. So
it really comes down to your guys' own discretion, you know, when it comes to that. I mean, we just like to see, I gotta find the codified law to get it down to, you know, S-7- whatever. Or,
That's fine.
You know, but anyways, like, we're just looking for that there's some type of list made that says each department in their own area, you know, like, what's in their possession at the end of the year. That says, here's a list of, you know, 2 desks, 2 chairs, here's a relatively estimated cost. And that's all we're really looking for. A lot of that stuff, I mean, you can argue that, well, it's under the building, it's part of the structure now, you know. You can just say we have 37 cameras up, you know, here's the cost of each one. And then at the end of the year, if you're removing and stuff, that's where the additions and deductions in that list come into play. Hey, we removed the 3 2020 cameras and replaced them with some 2024 ones. Here's the cost of them. I mean, you can do it like that too. And it depends on how detailed, I mean, I was telling Lynn and them, I mean, because there's a capitalization threshold of $5,000 for the state. I think it's going to move to 10 here. I don't know if it's supposed to be the next year or whatever. But, you know, a lot of that stuff is on their paperwork already, you know, and, you know, like vehicles, all that. We're just looking for stuff that, so if someone quits, that, you know, the new person come in and be like, expect, here's a list of all these things that are in this room or the rooms that are at their disposal, saying, all these should be here, so that, you know, if someone can't just come in and be like, hey, you took this, you know, there's, here, this supposed to be here, and there's no proof of it, you know, and let's say...
well, the public assets, we don't want them just walking away and things like that.
Yeah.
But it gets a little difficult on a day-to-day basis if you've got, you know, an individual telephone or a computer monitor that can, you know, no longer functions, and you're not quite sure if it's a power supply or whatever it is, and the IT department's got 1 or 2 spares, and they replace it, and then all of a sudden, you know, 3 years later, you got a room full of leftover pieces, you know, that literally have no value, but, you know, how fussy do we want to need to be on tracking the asset codes, because everybody's, you know, pretty busy just trying to keep things functioning.
Yeah, and...
You want to account for that stuff, but...
And you can make the argument that, you know, it's whatever's on your hand at the 12/31, you know, at the end of the year. That's what we're looking for. Because, I mean, a lot of that stuff, too, is just, you can make even a separate list that says these are, like, temporary items. These are not permanent hold items in the office, you know, like a person...
Okay.
You know, like a desk, you know, that doesn't change out every year, you know, that
Right.
could be there
Well,
for 5 years.
we absolutely want to be good stewards, absolutely, you know, with the property and that we're
Yeah.
trusted with that, and, but also make sure that, you know, we're accounting for it appropriately, so, you know, the audit is, you know, clean when
Yeah.
it comes to that, and we can identify and account for those things, but also by the same token, you know, like I said, there's a limited service life for a lot of that stuff, and when it's worthless, it's worthless.
Yeah, and like the IT department too, like they don't have to track every computer. It's just whatever's out there.
Okay.
You know, because like once you have 5 computers purchased for auditor's office, then you go in the auditor's office. It's on the auditor's office to keep track of those 5 computers. You know, it'd be weird for an IT guy, I guess in your instance, to really be going out looking at over all 100 computers everywhere. That'd just be crazy. You know, once it comes into a different office, and that office has possession, and they're using it for their own, you know, functions, that computer belongs to them.
That's
Yeah.
who becomes responsible for it.
Yeah, like, then,
Right.
you know, it go in and
Right.
make sure it's
Just
still...
accounting for
Yep,
it.
Yeah.
yep, right.
And, you know, I mean, their function, the IT function of, you know, having the proper software, that's a whole different story, you know.
Right.
This is just purely possession that, you know, if the building burned down, did we have 5 computers in the auditor's
Right.
office? Did we have 5
Sure.
computers in the treasurer's office, you know, and so on.
So we should find some kind of a simple system that makes the...
Yeah, and we
transfer of
just
the
look
accounting
for,
pretty
yeah,
simple.
just a basic description, how many are in there, and just the estimated cost.
Okay. Basically a snapshot, here's what's here today, just like
Yeah,
you're doing an
and like I
inventory
said,
for a
just think of
retailer.
it, if a fire happens, at least you have a list showing the insurance, like, here's a
Okay.
list of the stuff that happened to be in there at this time. This
Okay.
is the most recent one. I mean, you can be really finicky if you want, but
Don't
it
have
doesn't,
time.
yeah, it's not necessary.
Don't have the time.
Yeah, so,
All right,
Okay.
I did
All right.
want to touch on that, so thank you for that conversation.
And that's all I was gonna touch on too, was the
Yeah.
inventory thing, so.
and yeah, we just expect them to be in the auditor's office, just to be, law says it doesn't have to be signed, but we like to see the signature by the supervisor, head department, just so that it shows that they reviewed it themselves. I mean, because
Right.
also too, you don't want somebody else from outside their office being like, hey, where's this? You're supposed to have this, and they've never, someone just,
Right.
essentially signed it for them. And, they don't want to be put in a hot spot or a wrong spot.
Right. Accountability.
Yeah, so yeah, just, I mean, it goes both ways.
Right, okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Anything else for us?
Not that I'm aware of.
All right,
So everything else was communicate to head departments or, who oversees those documents. So. All right, cool.
see you next year.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Is this state's attorney around? Oh, all right, perfect. All right, thank you.
All right, any other questions on the audit? If not, we'll move on to second reading and possible adoption of ordinance 283.
Ordinance 283, ordinance amending Title IV, second revision, of Brown County Ordinance as amended to rezone certain described properties, filed by Lakota Acres, Brian and Lisa Larson, to go from Ag Preservation District to Mini Ag District.
Is there anyone here to speak to ordinance 283? Seeing none, I would entertain a motion to approve.
Move.
Motion by Dennert,
Second.
second by Gage. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Next up, consent calendar. Lynn?
Approval of the general meeting minutes of November 19th.
Move.
Motion by Weiss,
Second.
second by Gage. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Claims.
Move. Second.
Motion by Weiss, second by Dennert. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
HR report.
Move. Second.
Motion by Dennert, second by Weiss. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Claim assignment.
Move. Second.
Motion by Gage, second by Weiss. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Zoning ordinances, set hearing date and authorize advertising.
Move.
Motion by Weiss,
Second.
second by Gage. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Final plats. First one is North Warner Homestead Edition.
Move.
Motion by Gage.
Second.
Second by Dennert. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
B. Olson Edition.
Move.
Motion by Weiss,
Second.
second by Gage. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Heath, 8th subdivision to Richmond Lake.
Move.
Motion by Dennert, second by Weiss. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Adam and Brittany Holcomb First Edition.
Move. Second.
Motion by Dennert, second by Gage. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Any other business to come before the Brown County Commission this morning? We've had a request to go into executive session for personnel. I don't see any legal, oh, there's legal counsel. Okay, personnel and legal. Entertain a motion to go into executive
Move.
session. Motion by Weiss.
Second.
Second by Dennert. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. We are in exec. All right, light is back on. We're out of executive session, back in regular session with no action as a result. Is there anything else to come before the Brown County Commission this morning?
Adjourn. Second.
Motion by Weiss, second by Dennert to adjourn. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. We are adjourned.